A few weeks ago, I made some easy vehicle builds that anyone could sit down and accomplish. However, you guys still want to see more vehicle builds, according to YouTube analytics. So, that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. Let's get to it. This time around, the builds won't be as easy, cause the plan I wrote down for this video is to make everything totally awesome. Of course, that's easier said than done, but I'll still give it a shot. I like the idea of making a car that actually looks like a car. To do this, I started out by taking two carts and sticking them together long ways, then attaching two big wheels at the back, plus two more wheels halfway up the other cart. Doing this naturally made the device lean forward a bit, but that's fine, because this is gonna be the front anyways. I put a sled on the front with the teeth part facing out. From here, I was deciding if I wanted to use a spring to make the top clamp down, and it kinda looked cool, so why not? Oh, and of course, the car needs headlights, so a couple of lights will do perfect. From this point, we have a car-esque looking vehicle. But now, we need to start adding some little decorations to really make this thing look sick. I wanted to add some taillights, so I added a couple of red choo-choo jellies to fit that role. I was thinking about adding doors, so I followed the attach mechanic for a solid 8 minutes to get it just right, only to decide that I didn't really like how that looked, so I'm gonna ditch those. I kept going through my materials, but didn't see anything that would add too much more to the build. So instead, I decided it was time to add some lasers. And there we have it, an awesome little car with a pulse laser on top. Let's go ride around with it and see how it performs. Immediate first impression, it's not that fast, but it looks cool and very car-like. I tried to get cool shots of it while in motion, but I kept driving off the road. Either way, we made it from the base, down the road, and to a nearby stable without it falling apart. So I called that a success.
Outstanding!
For this next vehicle, I want to see how far we can take this clamping mechanic. So I pretty much ripped the vehicle we had in half and pulled out two springs. I made sure they were both extended and attached them to one another. From here, I attached the two tires on the ends and attached the hood from the other car build on top. When that was all done, I reattached the back half of the other car to the front half. One thing's for sure, when it's not engaged, this thing looks pretty bad, but let's see what happens when we activate it. Not gonna lie, it actually looks pretty cool. Maybe a couple of details can really make this thing shine. So I replaced the choo-choo jelly tail lights with rubies and added a card on the front end behind the headlights. After a quick test drive around the area, this thing seems pretty polished, but I think I can make it look even better. To accomplish this, I detached the wheels from the springs and added a cart in its place. But the wheels didn't look like it would clear the headlight, so those are gonna have to move. Essentially, the idea is that the springs will clamp together and bring both front wheels super close, and hopefully look awesome in the process. After it was all assembled, this is the before, and this is the after. But when I went to go test it out, it seemed pretty hard to control. That is, until I walked around front and realized one of the wheels were backwards. One quick fix later, and we're golden. But I still decided to add two small wheels by the control stick, and even some cards to the side, which will completely lock Link in. I really do like this design, but there is a small issue, and that is, I can't even get in it. So I guess those are gonna have to go. Overall, I was very happy with how this car design looked in the end, and it drives good enough. That is until I got it stuck on a rock, trying to get a cool shot. Our next build is going to be simple, but awesome at the same time, and that is a motorcycle build. I was gonna say put a control stick between two small wheels and call it a day, but I kept falling over when I went to launch it, so we obviously need to find a way to incorporate a stabilizer. With that in mind, I pulled out a stake, lined everything up, and went to put a stabilizer at an angle to represent a windshield. But when I went to launch the device, it did this. So yeah, that's fun. Instead, I decided it'd probably be best to stick a stabilizer on each side. That way it looks balanced. Only problem with this is it didn't control too well, and I ended up ripping one off during the test drive. Only having one stabilizer off to the side seemed to be perfect. On the plus side, this thing is fast, but it doesn't handle hills very well. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also, leave a comment, cause I respond to those pretty often. And as always, I'll catch you next time.